All right, welcome. I am back. So I'm just going to restart the whole video and then we'll see where we end up. So my previous video was halted, but I am here. If you're new, welcome. My name is Coach Veronica Marie, and I am a fitness, nutrition, and emotional wellness coach. And I am also a feminine wisdom mentor. I enjoy helping people live a healthy and a happy life. You can reach me on my website at VeronicaMarie.com. Consider picking up my recent ebook and also see how we can work together. All of that can be found on my website. Today, the topic is reciprocity or alignment. I hear a lot of people talk about reciprocity, and they are either demanding reciprocity, looking for reciprocity, upset because they didn't get reciprocity. We have a lot of talk about not setting up one-way relationships, and people talking about the importance of effort, and if they wanted to, they would have, and if they value you, then they would have done this. And there's all of this talk, right? And so I pose the question to you today: do you want reciprocity or alignment? So let's look a little bit deeper into this concept of reciprocity versus alignment. So usually when you align with others in key areas that are important to you, then reciprocity comes naturally, usually. When you spend your time gauging alignment, when you spend your time being present and assessing alignment, then you don't have to demand reciprocity. It comes naturally. I made a post on TikTok today, and my opinion is I'm not really looking for a reciprocity. What I am interested in is alignment, right? I want to align with people who have natural ways of being and desires that work well with my natural ways of being and desire. That way we have synergy. We have the cycle of abundance, give and take and give. We have the masculine and feminine represented well on both ends. We have yin and yang all the time, right? This is when we have alignment. When alignment is present, then reciprocity is natural. Usually when people are demanding reciprocity, they are talking from some past pain where someone didn't offer reciprocal energies or effort or attention or something like that. And they come forward with that past unresolved energy into present spaces. And they usually fuss, and the fuss sounds something like this: I want somebody to cater to me. I want somebody to do this for me. They just fuss. Right? That's past unresolved pain. This tells me that this person does not is not in a space of gauging alignment yet. They are in a space of lack. Lack is an area of your life where you didn't have what you wanted, didn't get what you wanted, never had, didn't know how to set it up. You're still without it, but you want it, right? And so alignment, however, requires you to, number one, self-assess. What is it that I desire deeply? What are my deepest aspirations, my deepest values, right? First, you have to self-assess. And then you need to ask yourself, what kind of person operates naturally in these areas? What kind of person would be good for me? You need to know how to verbalize this. You also need to go into great detail, understanding what that could look like, exploring possibilities. It could look like this. It could look like that. And begin to create that reality within yourself so that you know what it looks like and you know what it feels like, so that when you are coming into contact with other people, you connect, you have a lot to talk about, right? Because you have a lot of self-knowledge and you begin to be curious about their knowledge of self, and then you begin to share that, and then your eyes are open to see, wow, we're aligned for this, not for that. I'm going to ask more questions. I'm going to see how deeply this person feels about that. I'm going to create with this person, in other words, or I'm going to decide what kind of connection we can actually have. See, a lot of people are trying to turn a connection into something with longevity or something of commitment, and that relationship really doesn't belong in that scope. It really doesn't belong in that realm. But this happens when people are coming forward and not gauge an assessment. The other thing that happens is in the beginning, it's very easy to do things that excite the other person. But then when you start developing a history of pain and discomfort between one another, then that thing that was easy at first is no longer easy. And there we go. This enters more fuss about reciprocity, and people changed and they don't do the same things they used to do. You know, there's this saying that whatever you did to get them, you need to do to keep them. I just disagree, right? Because of what we're talking about right here, right? And that's the topic for another video. Don't park it there. Just kind of follow me with the topic of reciprocity and alignment. You have to learn how to spend time connecting with a person's heart, with a person's soul, to even know what that alignment really is. Because here's the thing, all these beautiful psychological and spiritual terms are available to many people, but on that same hand, many people don't really know what those terms mean, and they don't really know how to work within those terms. So people will throw around words like openness and understanding and freedom, but they haven't thought very deeply into what that could look like. And so even though they like the concepts and they desire them, they haven't taken time to really assess themselves. So then they get into situations where they're using the right words and you think you're talking about the same things. And then you progress and you realize we were not talking about the same things. Wait a minute. You said you wanted openness. Well, I'm being open and you're shutting down. Wait a minute. You said you wanted, So again, you have to spend time thinking within yourself, assessing and learning how to verbalize. Listen, we are in the world with other humans who have a brain, right? And we need to communicate with them. I love spiritual communication. I love energetic communication, but you also need some communication brain to brain. Okay, you need to have verbal communication as well, and then you need to learn how to verbally understand one another. That's going to take time. So many times, again, you're looking for reciprocity. Maybe a person is giving you something reciprocal. You buy them flowers, they buy you flowers. You go out to eat, they pay, you pay next time. Maybe that is reciprocity, but reciprocity just does not guarantee alignment for the reasons that I just mentioned. So the question is, do you actually know how to plug into a person's soul? You're going to have to come away from that idea of lack and reciprocity to do that, right? If you want to set up synergy, if you want to set up cycles of abundance, then you need to know what you're doing, what you think, what they're doing, what they think, and what that means together. That takes a lot of conversation. So if you don't feel you don't communicate well, if you feel you don't like to talk, if you feel like you don't have a lot of words, then that indicates to me that you need to begin to do some more self-reflection and some more self-discovery and some more growth in that area. I'm going to pause for a moment, give you some time to reflect, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So, let me give you something practical here. Let's say you meet someone and the person is saying they don't know how to express something, right? A lot of times it's common for you to kind of jump in and compensate and go, oh, it's okay. You don't have to. No, they really do need to. Maybe it's not right now. Maybe they need some time to think about it. If you ask them a question, which is common with me, the person may say, I never really thought about it. Okay, well, you don't have to answer it right now, but when you come around to the answer, just let me know and we could talk. I ask these questions about things that are important to me. A lot of times I find that I ask people questions, but they don't ask the same questions back. They probably should. Because if they don't know what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, how I move or behave, but they're telling me how they move and behave, how can we assess alignment? Right? And so I just really suggest powerful questions, right? Ask questions. What's important to you? And or maybe if you state what's important to you, you can ask them what's important to them and you can have a whole dialogue. But one of the things you don't need to do is assume you know what one another what each other are talking about what you mean. You just don't want to do that. You want clarity, especially in the beginning stages, in key areas about emotional wellness, right? What's important to you where emotions are concerned? How do you see emotions? How do you handle your emotions? What do you do with them? What do you think about them? Right? How's your heart? In the area of mental wellness, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? I ask questions of about envisioning. What does that look like to you? How would that play out in ideal circumstances? Right? I'm trying to equip you with some questions in the area of finances. How do you look at finances in relationship? What ways have you tried already? What do you not want to do again? What do you hope to see in your future? In the area of physical being, in terms of where quality time and meeting is concerned, that like what do you feel about quality time? What do you require for yourself? A lot of times I ask people these questions and they'll say, I just want to flow. I just want to be free. I'm telling you, that's the setup for a problem, because those people mostly know what they don't want and they haven't given a lot of thought into what they do want. Right. And so then they're just going to keep finding out what they don't want as opposed to identifying and recognizing what they do want. Right. In the area of sex, what are you interested in? What's important to you? Right. What do you want to see? What would you like to experience more of, less of? These are beautiful questions. Now, does that mean that the answer has to be set in stone and you could never change it? No. You might answer the question one way today and another way tomorrow, but the communication is happening. The verbalization is happening. You can begin to gauge alignment. Here's an example. I once met a person who had felt burned in the past by someone. They had paid the other person's bills and really took care of them, and they didn't feel that the other person gave back what they should, right? They weren't reciprocal. It was a one-way relationship. So when I met this person was in a fuss, and the fuss sounded like this. I'm never doing that again. I want to be taken care of too. And I will never pay somebody's bills again. And I will never do that again. I gotta see. So for me, that is not in alignment with no kind of way I want to be in a relationship. Okay. I know that that person is bringing unresolved past into the situation between us, and that has nothing to do with me. That means that person is not going to be able to see me very well in those instances. And I have to ask myself, do I want to tussle with their unresolved past? Also, how open are they to understanding that their unresolved past is coming into the present connection? And are they willing to do something about it? These are ways that I gauge alignment. How open is the person? How aware is this person? How capable is the person? Now, you're going to ask a lot of questions, right? But then sometimes you're going to see over time. And that's where I left off on my last video. A lot of people have a lot of healing words to use, a lot of psychological terms to discuss, but they really don't know what that means in a lived out experience. So you can hear the words that they're saying and it can sound lovely and you can develop clarity, but the next part is the experiences. You're only going to know if you're in alignment through experiences. Those experiences can happen inside of a commitment. Those experiences can happen outside of a commitment. That depends on what you want and where you are in your world, right? It doesn't have to be find out before you commit. It doesn't have to be find out after you commit. But what it does need to be is you understanding that I don't know this person. This is an expansive being, right? This being has universes inside of them, mental universes, emotional universes, physical universes, cells and systems, and all of these things. So I know I don't know this person. I'm not confused about that, right? But what I am doing is getting to know the person. Right. So again, do you want reciprocity? Because people can reciprocate early on. A lot of people have the ability to reciprocate, but or do you want alignment where it flows easily and naturally? Here's the other thing. If you're dealing with a person who has people pleasing tendencies, right? Their reciprocation will turn into some type of arrangement where they end up resentful, where you set up expectations of give and take, tit for tat, show and prove, and all of these things, right? If you're engaging with a person who doesn't feel they can reciprocate, yet they want to be connected with you, they may mask. That's a thing. The other thing is they may be striving outside of their ability to be something or do something or give back. It really doesn't allow authentic offering and receiving. It really doesn't. And especially if you're dealing with a person who has unresolved past where people have held things over their heads, right? They're going to offer you some reciprocity because they don't want you holding something over their heads. That isn't intimacy. That's unresolved past coming into the present. I hope this makes sense. So today, you are going to, number one, answer the question, do I want reciprocity or alignment? If you want alignment and you know how to cultivate that, you're going to have reciprocity. Reciprocity isn't something to seek after. It's something that comes as a result of good alignment and abilities to align, because there may be some places you're not aligned in. Are you capable of coming into aligning in alignment with a new idea, a new way of being? That's possibility too. And be mindful that if you are able to cultivate alignment, this is not work, this is not struggle love, this is co-creation. So we're not getting upset and doing it from a space of lack and need and things of that nature. It's really, hey, I want to continue this relationship with you. And I recognize that alignment is so important. This is what's important to me. What's important to you? Is there a middle ground? Are you willing to come to a middle ground? And if not, it's okay. But if so, then that's okay too, right? And also, what is it that you really want in a relationship? What do you desire? What is ideal? And what kind of person can create that with you? Are you the type of person who can create with that person? Because sometimes you want some things that are outside of your present ability. So this is a valid question. Like you might want a great communicator, but and a great communicator, open communicator, a clear communicator may be good for you. But are you able to align with what that great communicator might want? These are relevant questions. And that is it for today. My name is Coach Veronica Marie. You can find me at VeronicaMarie.com. You can search for me, Veronica Marie, hashtag Veronica Marie on social media channels of TikTok and Instagram. And if you don't already follow me, please consider following me and liking this video, maybe even sharing it with a person that you want to develop a connection with, and maybe use it as a point of conversation. The possibilities are endless. Right now, I'm on Zoom teleconference. So if you were commenting during the live, I cannot see that. But if I do see it later, then I'll be sure to respond. A lot of times, live comments don't show up when I do it this way. So you might have to go and post it under the replay, right? All right, that's it. So y'all have a beautiful day and we'll talk soon.